What's up everyone, you're watching a Montu Motors video, and today we've got an odd one for you. Instead of doing a single car, we're actually going to talk about two cars, the Suzuki Cappuccino and the Mazda AZ1. So a little history about the Japanese K car, which these cars fall under. It had to have a maximum engine displacement of 660 cc, and had to have a maximum length of 129.7 inches, and a maximum width of 54.9 inches. So again, these are very small cars, much like the Honda Beat, which was the first informational video we did a few months back. The purpose was to have a small, efficient city car that could lower tax rates and insurance for motorists in Japan. So we'll start off with the Suzuki Cappuccino. This lean, mean jelly bean was in production from 1991 until 1997 and was assembled in Shizuoka, Japan. It had a 657 cubic centimeter dual overhead cam turbocharged 3-cylinder. This motor produced a maximum horsepower of 63, which was allowed for K cars, and it produced at 6,500 RPM. Power was sent to the rear wheels via a 5-speed manual or even a 3-speed automatic. The Cappuccino was able to achieve a perfect weight distribution of 50-50 when both seats are occupied. Presumably, both people would weigh the same. Otherwise, you'd have a worse than 50-50 split sideways. The Cappuccino was also configured as a closed coupe, a T-top, or a full-on convertible. If you take the T-tops off, you can store them in the trunk, which would take up almost all the luggage space, being that this car is very small. Unlike the Honda Beat, the Suzuki Cappuccino actually has power steering, which is kind of nice just for getting around town, being that you're probably making a lot of tight turns and don't want to have to use every bit of the MAN that you would need in the Beat to make a turn. The original car was known as the EA11R. However, in 1995 they updated it to the EA21R. It had a newer, lighter engine and increased torque over the old model. It had new safety features such as an airbag for the driver and ABS on all wheels. Some models also had a limited slip differential available, which would make it easier, especially if you had a nice tuned Cappuccino, putting down more power. Next up, we have the Mazda AZ1, also known as the AutoZam AZ1. So an interesting thing about this car was it was actually a joint development between Suzuki and Mazda. So the motor was the same one as the Suzuki Cappuccino. So you had 657 cubic centimeters and a turbocharged 3-cylinder, but this was also the same motor that Mazda was using for their Carol. But Suzuki later took the same motor and made another version called the Suzuki Cara. Then the Mazda AZ1 happened, and then maybe we should draw a web diagram for this one. Basically what happened is, in this joint production, both Suzuki and Mazda had their own version of this car, the AZ1. One was called the Cara, one was called the AZ1. It was a mid-engine car like the Beat from Honda, and was equipped only with a 5-speed manual transmission. The AZ1 was officially released in late 1992 and lasted until 1995. Suzuki's Cara, basically the same thing, was released in 1993 and lasted until 1995, and it had a much lower production number. In comparison, Mazda sold 4,392 versions of their AZ1, whereas Suzuki only sold 531 of the Cara. And when the car was released, there were only two colors available, Siberia Blue and Classic Red. Both colors came with a Venetian Gray lower half. Personally, I think that was kind of cool. I like the two-tone look of it. Mazda also had a few different special versions of the AZ1, one of which was the Type L. This featured an upgraded audio system, including a subwoofer in the trunk. There was also a Mazda Speed version of the AZ1, which came in all red or all blue, so no two-tone for the Mazda Speeds. They had a new body kit that changed the hood and the front spoiler as well as the wing. Almost looks like a mini Ferrari F40 in a way. But mechanically you also got new shocks and springs, as well as strut bars for the front and rear, and a mechanical LSD, and a new exhaust system. Mazda also fitted the car with alloy wheels instead of the steel wheels to save some weight. For 1994, Mazda made the M2 1015 version of the AZ1. Catchy name, right? Similar to the Mazda Speed version, it was a single color body. However, instead of red and blue, the colors are now white, black, and silver. But the biggest difference overall is the fact that this version came with big front fog lights, similar to a rally car. So here at Montu, we have a lot of experience with the Honda Beat, which is these cars' closest competitor. In fact, a lot of times people refer to these as the ABC of the sports car K-Class. You have the AZ1, the Beat, and the Cappuccino, hence ABC. Having the Beats here has taught us a lot about the K-car market in America, however, we still have a lot to learn. So I'm going to throw a little real-world example of driving a Beat around on the streets of America. So let's say I take a Honda Beat out to run an errand. A couple of things are going to happen. A, I as a car lover, I'm going to enjoy driving that car because it is an absolute blast. And B, other people are going to look at the car and want to stop and ask questions or comment on it. So you get the usual slew of questions that you get asked when owning or driving a JDM car around, such as, what the heck is that thing? Is it legal? And why are you on the wrong side of the car? But a lot of times people want to comment on it and think, wow, that thing's really cool. Or some people think, man, that thing's small. It must be scary, right? And there are definitely some pros and cons to driving a K car around on American streets. The pros are definitely fuel economy. Those things get phenomenal gas mileage, being that they're so light and have small motors. The other pro is you are going to have a lot of fun when driving one of these cars. I guarantee it. Because you can have a blast in a parking lot and not break the law. They're just amazing fun. It's like a road legal go-kart. But the cons definitely come in the form of the size of the car. Not everybody's going to fit in one. They're small. They're very tight. I'm an average sized dude and it's pretty snug fit inside a Beat. And the other con is for somebody who's looking to travel with the car or drive it on a highway, what have you, they're really not that suitable for American highways. You're going to burn a lot more gas driving on the highway. Almost sounds counterintuitive, but technically at normal highway speeds, you're really kind of wringing those cars out. So I guess the question I have to ask is this. Are you guys actually interested in the K cars? Is the Beat, Cappuccino, and next year when it becomes legal, the AZ1 something that you guys would like to own? So I'm looking for some feedback here just to see what everybody thinks about these cars. Personally, when the AZ1 becomes legal next year, it's something I would love to have here. I would like to drive one. However, we also want to make sure that there's a market for them as well. We can't really spend money to bring cars over if they're just going to sit here. So we would appreciate any feedback you guys have for us because, well, we look to you guys for our business a lot of times. You are the customers, so we want to know what you think about these cars. We hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a little bit about the Suzuki Cappuccino and the Mazda AZ1. If you're looking to import a Cappuccino or a Beat this year, you can always email us at sales@Montu Motors. Again, the AZ1 will be available next year. Again, thank you guys for watching this video and have a good one.
カプチーノにとってはちょっと不利かな。
見て見て、窓から顔出せるよこの車。あれ出せないよもうね。今日は多分負けるよこれ。あっちの方が早いもん。
という弱気な服部選手に対して。
日本全国満員電車お好きなファンの皆さん、つり革がここにもあります。カウンタックファンの皆さんもこうご期待ください。これがマツダのカウンタックです。では。
ああ、インタビューして損した。さあ、KカースポーツNo.1決定戦スタート。
楽勝だ半蔵。
何やってんだあれ。踊ってたぞ今。
土屋 AZ1 はしゃいでいるうちに1コーナーのインを取られた。
やっぱコーナリングはミッドシップのがいいですね。いいですね。いいですね。
同じエンジンで車重が軽く14インチタイヤを装着するカプチーノに対し、ドリドリのこの余裕はなんだ。これで負けたら許さんよ。
なんか半蔵苦しそうですね。ご覧いただいてますでしょうか。楽勝に運転しています。ノーブレーキでいきたいと思います。ちょっとこういう高速コーナーはね、ソーイングを送ってやるとよろしいんじゃないかなと、そんなように思いますけれどもね。こんなとこ全然安定してますね。全開ですね。
ドリドリの AZ1、格好もワイパーの動き方も変だが走りが相当に良さそう。さあストレート加速は
ハンちゃん綺麗に運転してますね。なかなかね。スリップストリームなんかついちゃいますかね。やっぱこういう雨になると余裕だね。しかしね、余裕よハンちゃん。やっぱりさすがミッドシップだけあるね。
ストレート加速はほとんど同じだがコーナリングスピードが全然違う。 AZ1 偉い。
おかまほだれるよ。早えややっぱ最終コーナー。
もうドリドリ AZ1 ははしゃぎまくり状態。 でも今回のバトルは3ラップなんだからね。そろそろ真剣に走んなさいよ。
おれ楽勝だなこれは。
ここじゃ行かさないようだ。
笑いながらも手堅くインをキープする服部カプチーノ。さあ1ヘアピン AZ1 がアウトから行くぞ。速い。アウトのラインでカプチーノに並びかける。
やっほー。
クリップも何もないよ。見えないんだよミラーが。
ところ構わず並びかけるドリドリ AZ1。 2台の差はそこまで大きいのか。さあ今度は2ヘアピンで勝負だ。いったー
楽勝。やっぱりコーナリングの違いですねこれはね。すごいですね AZ1。
なんだか速いなAZ1 とかいうやつ。
絶賛していたスズキのカプチーノをやっつけてしまうという。おい
ドリドリ危ない。ドリドリ危ない。
というわけで結果は AZ1 のぶっちぎり。Kカースポーツの新しい王者が決定した。
松田もさすがにガルウィングでいただけること。
Would definitely recommend Monty Motors.
And I would definitely go through Monty Motors again and again.
Registration, insurance, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they took care of every fear you could possibly have. They'll be able to answer it right on the spot.
That was a ridiculously simple process for getting a JDM car.
I couldn't be happier with my purchase from Matsu Motors.